Now, there are 4 levels of learning. Of the 4 levels of learning, the first one is called acquisition. Everything I just explained to you initially is not as important as what I'm supposed to explain to you now. It's called acquisition. Now, what is acquisition? Acquisition is that phase of learning where all you are doing is learning and absorbing. That's the first phase of learning. Now, the second phase of learning is what is called fluency. At this stage of learning, what you are doing is you have become independent. Now, the third phase of learning is application. At that phase of learning, you have become an expert. Now, the fourth phase of learning is what is called mastery. Now, at this phase of learning, these are the people that we call consultants. They are the masters. They have mastered it all. Now, how does this work for you when you are in the tech field? When you are under the acquisition phase, tech has 4 phases, or what are we called 4 levels. No matter what industry in which you find yourself, as long as it's a tech job, as long as it's a tech role, it has 4 phases. The first one is the entry phase. The second one is the professional phase. The third one is the specialist phase. And the fourth one is the management phase. Now, how does this work for you in tech? If you are in the acquisition phase, or you are just a recent graduate and you are just getting the job, you have just gotten the role, you are just moving into the job, you are still in what is called the acquisition phase, you are learning and you are absorbing. At that point in time, you are not learning as much as somebody that has become independent. If you have worked for a period of time and they have so much dependence on you in that organization, then you have started to become what is called independence. Now, the first thing I want you to understand about the entry level role, that's the acquisition phase, is the fact that at that point, your tool is the test for knowledge, your zeal, your focus, and your determination. At that point, you are just learning, you are absorbing, you are like a sponge. Everything is passing through because you are permeable. If you are the person that is coachable, at that point in time, you are absorbing a lot. That's the period that everything your manager says, you are probably taking a notebook to your one-on-ones because you are learning everything. Now, let me now tell you something that is very funny. You may have worked in the industry for 20 years and you are still in the acquisition phase. Why do I say that? If you are going into a new organization and you are working in that organization for the first time, you are in the acquisition phase of that organization. You don't know what is happening in that organization yet. So until you learn everything that you should learn and absorb in that organization, you are still going to be in the acquisition phase. Now, the second phase is what is called the knowledge phase. Now, the thing about the knowledge phase is that everything that you have gained, or should I use the word acquired, in the acquisition phase, this is when you start applying them. The education, the experience, the learning, everything that you have inculcated, this is when you start applying it. Without having to run to your manager every second or team leader and say, oh, I have a problem. Oh, I have a this, I have a that. At this stage, you are considered to be what is called independent. You can work independently without interference from anybody, without team collaboration. Now, at the expert phase, it's different from the fluency phase. That is the application phase is different from the fluency phase because in this phase, you are using what is called understanding and the ability to communicate effectively. At this phase, you are not only using the knowledge that you have acquired in the acquisition phase. You are not only interpreting the knowledge that you have applied in the fluency phase. You are also bringing up with what is called understanding and ability to communicate it. Now, let me explain the difference between knowledge and understanding to you. Knowledge is information. Knowledge is skills. Knowledge is facts. Those that you have gained by education, by learning, by experience is what is called knowledge. But understanding is your ability to interpret those things that you have learned in the fluency phase and be able to communicate them effectively. That means you can share them. Now, you need to understand, when we talk about this acquisition phase, most of the people in the acquisition phase are analysts, let me use the word junior analysts, not even analysts. Junior analysts, interns, they are still learning in this phase. Help desk, technicians, they are still in the acquisition phase. But in the fluency phase, you start becoming a full analyst. Why are you becoming a full analyst? Because your boss understands the fact that those things that you have acquired, you can interpret them and bring them to fulfillment in the fluency phase. But in the application phase, those are the people that have become senior analysts, subject matter experts usually. At this stage, you can share everything that you have learned, not only because you understand it, not only because you have the knowledge, but because you have the ability to communicate it effectively to others. You understand what I just said there? You have the ability to communicate it effectively to others. Now, the last stage is the mastery phase. Now, this mastery phase are the managers, anybody in management anyway, the managers, some team leads are not even at the mastery phase, the sills, the CTOs, the CIOs, everybody in management, or what is called in the C-suite, are expected to be in the mastery phase. Now, why are they in the mastery phase? Because at this point in time, they are regarded as the ones that are consultants. At this point, they are not only pushing out the understanding and talking to everybody about it, they're not only communicating it, they are able to generate the ideas and they're able to communicate with understanding. Like I explained, understanding is your ability to interpret and communicate knowledge that you have acquired. So in the mastery phase, they are able to generate the ideas and be able to communicate those ideas through the... What is most important is that if you want to make above $100,000, you need to start from the application phase and the mastery phase. Now, that can only come through years of learning, through years of mastery, through the hard work that you have put in, through the things that you have learned, that you have decided, that you are now sharing. Let me explain something to us that a lot of people don't know. How does this apply to you getting the job? Hey, let me explain how it is going to happen. Most recruiters, I'm telling you the recruiting secrets right now. Most recruiters put you in a box when they talk to you for the first time. When a recruiter is talking to you for the very first time, once he picks his phone and he has looked through your resume, they decide you are on to the next phase, they put you in what is called a box. Now, when I say a box, in their heads, they automatically have what is called a pay range for you. How do they determine that pay range? Your level, your learning level. How are you communicating your ideas? Are you the kind of person that is able to communicate effectively with understanding? Then they put you in the management role. Are you the kind of person that you are only communicating the knowledge that you have read through books and you are pouring the things that you have learned out? They put you in the fluency role. Are you the kind of person that you are communicating with understanding and they know that automatically you can be a subject matter expert? They put you in the application role. They have put you in a box. It's something that you cannot even explain or anticipate. They've already done that. Now, the next thing I want to understand is that when this happens, if a recruiter puts you in a pay range of 85,000 and in your head you are thinking I should be worth 100,000, you won't get the job. Even if you go to the hiring manager and they're asking you what you want, automatically you will not get the job because you are not at that level. Now, another thing I also want you to understand is that communication is important. One of the biggest things you need to learn as a tech expert is communication. Now, why am I saying communication? It's not just communication that is verbal. You have to be able to communicate verbally. Your written skills, your written communication skills must be top notch. Your body communication must be excellent. Now, what am I saying? When you are going for an interview and the recruiter is talking to you or the hiring manager is talking to you, there is a way you exude confidence if you are at the mastery level that helps them to understand that you know what you are talking about. You are not just pushing out figures. Your body is communicating the terms. Your body is communicating the conditions. Your body is communicating the language. If they do not even have a virtual interview with you and it's on the phone, there is an intonation, there's an inflection, that your voice gives that helps them to understand that you are not overthinking it. You are talking about the things that you know. Your body is communicating it, your voice is communicating it. Does that make sense? Then another mistake I have found out that a lot of people make is that when the interviewer is asking you, tell me about yourself. Wow. They are not asking you because they want to know everything is on your resume. They already have your resume in front of them. They're not asking you, tell me about yourself. When an interviewer is asking you, tell me about yourself, they don't care about who you are. They don't care about where you are coming from. They don't care about the things that you have done. They don't care about anything that is already written on the resume. They are trying to gauge your learning level. They are trying to gauge where you are with your ability to communicate. They need to understand if what you have is understanding or what you have is knowledge. They want to know if you are the kind of person that can generate ideas and you can communicate it. What is your level? Unfortunately, so many people cram. Please stop cramming. Stop cramming. Don't go to the internet and say, oh, this is when they say, who are you? This is how you should answer it. No. Nobody cares about who you are. They just want to gauge your learning level. That is why they are asking you, tell me about yourself. So if they are trying to understand you, tell me about yourself, you need to have an understanding of the job role. You need to be able to communicate it with understanding. And you need to be able to tell them how it applies that organization. That job role that you have applied to in that organization, how is it going to help them? They don't care about how it helps you. They care about how it is going to help them. So you have to show them all these things, like I said, at the mastery level if you want to make 100,000 and above. Now, every time you are pitching yourself for a job, I want you to see it as a marketing role, like you are marketing yourself. Now, what does this mean? What this means invariably is that see yourself as if you are making a sale. You are the products, but you don't want them to show you don't want to show desperation that you are marketing the product. So you need to show them the value. If you don't show them the value, you are not going to be able to sell the products. So you need to sell yourself. But how do you sell yourself? Sell yourself by showing that you have a good understanding of what the job role entails within that organization. I'm going to say it again for those that are not, they can't hear me. Show them, explain it with an understanding of what the job role looks like in the organization that you have applied for. Please.